Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today I'm here to share some anticipated book releases that are coming out very soon. So I do a lot of anticipated reads every single year. I do one at the beginning of the year talking about the whole year. Of course, I miss a lot of them, so that's why I do them seasonally as well. So I did one at the beginning of 2023, so here we're with my first seasonal one, the spring releases. These are books that are releasing in the next 3 months, the spring months, if you will. So the books I'm talking about today are released in March, April, and May. And then I'll do a summer one and then a fall. You get the gist. So I have a lot of books to talk about, so let's get into them. First up in March, we have What Have You Done by Alex Finlay coming out on March 7th. This is a mystery thriller book. It sounds like it's a group of boys that grew up together, I think maybe in like a foster home or maybe not a best place, but a lot of trauma happened to them when they were younger, so they formed this really tight bond, and now they're all grown up and they really don't keep in touch anymore, but something has happened that is making them all come back together again and to revisit their past trauma. So I'm guessing like a murder or something takes place and they have to revisit their trauma in the past to fix it. I read a couple of Alex Finlay's books before. I like them. I don't love them, so I'm giving them another shot. We'll have to see how I feel after this one. I may have to ties them all together. I don't know. Then we have The Love Wager by Lynn Painter coming out on March 14th. And this one I don't know a lot about. Even when I read the synopsis, you don't really get much. I think it's about a fake dating relationship. I'm not 100% sure, honestly. As they pretend to be a couple, lines become blurred and they struggle to remember why the other was a bad idea to begin with. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but it sounds cute, and we all know I love a good romance book any day of the week. Also coming out on March 14th is Vera Wong's Advice for Unsolicited Murder by Jessie Q. Santano. So this one, sorry, I'm reading it from right here. It says, a lonely shop owner takes it upon herself to solve a murder in the most peculiar way in this captivating mystery. So if you don't know, this author also wrote Dial A for Aunties, which I read last year and really enjoyed. They're like kind of cozy mystery, if you will. I like them a lot. Would recommend them, so I'm very excited for this one. March 7th, we have Off the Map by Trish Dollar. So this one, I'm sorry, I'm reading from my computer here. It's about a girl named Carla who's been traveling the world in her own vintage Jeep Wrangler for nearly a decade. And then she stopped it only long enough to replenish for her adventure fund. And then we also meet Iman, hopefully I've said that correctly, who's a modern day cartographer who creates digital maps. And they arrive in Dublin for her best friend's wedding, and Iman is tasked with picking her up from the airport. And I think it's basically, it says, what starts as a simple drive across Ireland becomes complicated with chemistry-filled detours, unexpected feelings, and a chance at love if only they choose it. I've read a couple of Trish Dollar books before. I really enjoy them. They're mainly kind of hard-hitting books with a bit of romance, but this one sounds great, like a cross-country road trip against Ireland. Like, heck yeah. And then lastly in March, I have The Only Game in Town by Lacey Walton coming out on March 21st. And I'm not gonna lie to you, what really drew me to this was the cover. The cover looked fun. And I read the synopsis and I was like, this sounds, fun. This is about a town in Redford, Georgia. Jasper Wilhelm, the town's eccentric benefactor, dies suddenly and he leaves an opportunity of a lifetime. So at his funeral, it's revealed that he has devised this massive high-stakes game for the people of this town, and the winning duo is to take his entire fortune. And so we follow a character named Jess who wants to do it, and it says, the only game in town is a funny, quirky homage to the people we get to call home. It just sounds fun. I don't expect much from it, if I'm honest with you, but it sounds like it's gonna be a good time. Moving into April, we have Yours Truly by Abby Hemezin. This is kind of a spin-off of her last book, Part of Your World. We follow the friend from that book, Brianna, who is also an ER doctor in this book, and she's finalizing her divorce. She's like trying to start her life again. Then she gets the sweetest letter from Dr. Death, or Dr. Jacob. They call him that because nobody likes him, but she writes him back and he writes her, and they quickly become like a pen pal situation. And it says that Jacob is a donor match for her brother who needs a kidney transplant. And so basically I think something like that happens. It sounds really awesome, and I love her books. I've read them all, enjoyed them all. Next up, we have Love on the Menu by Mimi Deb coming out April 16th. This is basically one takeaway dinner, two lonely hearts. Did somebody order a rom-com? When I hear taglines like that, it's hard for me not to want to read it. And it just says that, I don't know, and it totally is gorgeous and escapist rom-com with a twist. With each delivery, this character orders, Ben slips in a note of his own and eagerly waits for a reply. So I think it's about like a girl who works at a restaurant that does deliveries, and I think like kind of a you've got mail situation happens where they write each other back. I love You've Got Mail, so it should be no secret I want to read this. Then coming out on April 25th, we have The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is his newest thriller. And so this is about a character named Emma who loves reading. And then one day she reads a poorly written but gruesome horror novel by this author. And she posts a 1-star review of it. And it gets her into this big online argument with none other than the author himself, which is, whew. That's scary. Soon after, disturbing instances start to occur at night. To Emma, this cannot be a coincidence. It was strange enough for this author to bicker with her online. Could he be stalking her too? I mean, this is like literally every book reviewer's worst nightmare. Like, look, we're all gonna have books we don't like. I get it. Like, I do not like talking about books I don't like because I just don't like doing it. And plus, I know somebody spent a lot of their time and effort to write a book. I don't want to bash it, but it happens. This is why we don't tag authors in our low reviews, just so you're aware. Don't do it. Do not do it. But I don't know, man. It sounds crazy. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm here for it. Next up, we have a very anticipated, probably everyone's most anticipated romance of the whole year, Happy Place by Emily Henry, coming out on April 25th. If I'm honest with you, I know exactly nothing about this book. It's about Harry and Lynn, who've been the perfect couple, and they broke up 6 months ago and haven't told their best friends. And so I think they have to go on this trip with their best friends, and they don't want to tell them, so they have to like fake being in love for a week. It says, after years of being in love, how hard can it be to fake for 1 week in front of those who know you best? So it's no secret. Emily Henry is a great romance author. I love all of her books, so I'm very much anticipating this one. And lastly, also on April 25th is Bear With Me by Katie Shepherd. The amount of puns with romance titles in the last couple years is astounding. I like them, but sometimes I'm like, really? This one's kind of like that. But this is about a character named Tegan who is dragged by a sister to a wilderness therapy retreat in Montana. Lost in the woods, Tegan nearly gets eaten by a bear, but is saved by an angel, the program's handywoman Darcy. And so after spending the summer with her, he realizes that he does not want to return to New York, and he hires Darcy as his sober companion. And so basically it's about that. It's kind of like a wilderness retreat thing, but also other things. I don't know. If I'm honest, I'm not expecting much from it. The title caught me. Obviously. It might be good. It might be bad. I don't know. May, we have Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune coming out on May 2nd. This is obviously the second book from the author who wrote a very popular book last year, Every Last Summer. And this one is about a character named Fern who, I don't know much about it either. Has a crush on this one guy named Will forever, and now she's back, I think, at her hometown, and she has to run her mother's lakeside resort, and the place is in disarray. Her ex-boyfriend's the manager, and Fern doesn't know where to begin. And then Will, who's the guy that she used to really like, comes in and offers to help. So I think like a second chance romance kind of thing going on here. I don't know. Then we have The Daydreams by Laura Hawking coming out on May 2nd. What caught me was the cover and then the synopsis. It's basically about, it says, a deliciously entertaining novel about the stars of a popular teen show from the early 2000s and the reunion special 13 years after their scandalous flameout that will either be their last chance at redemption or destroy them all for good. I love books like this. I mean, Daisy Jones and the Six is coming out like really, really soon. It's probably might be out by the time you see this. On Amazon, and that's literally the only book to show adaptation I'm really excited for. But when I read the book, I loved it. I love kind of fictional bands and stuff like that to get a deeper, darker look into them, and this one sounds kind of like that, so I'm very much intrigued by it. Then I have a fantasy in here. I know. A Crown of Ivy and Glass by Claire Legrand coming out on May 9th. This is her first adult fantasy. I have read one of her young adult fantasies, and I thought it was okay, but I am interested to see how she's going to do adult fantasy. I'm going to butcher this. Basically, it's about Lady Gemma, whose family was anointed by the gods, blessed with incredible abilities. But underneath it all, she's sad. Years ago, her sister was taken to Menelaus to guard against Irish magic, and then, worst of all, Gemma is the only one to possess no magic. Instead, her body fights it like poison. And then she meets a guy, and then I don't know what it's about. It sounds interesting. This one is one that if I read it, great. I don't know if I will. I really don't. May 16th, we have Summer Reading by Jen McKinley, and says, with a woman who'd rather do anything than read meets a swooning-worthy bookworm, sparks fly, making for one hot summer fling. So I guess it's about somebody that falls in love with a bookworm and they hate books, which is kind of my life. Like, my husband does not like books at all, but he likes that I like them, you know? Romance isn't dead. And then the last book I have for my most anticipated spring releases is True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. This is their latest one. It comes out May 16th, and this is sparks fly when a romance novelist, wow, there's a lot of like romance novelists, and a documentary filmmaker join forces to craft the perfect Hollywood love story and take both of their careers to the next level, but only if they can keep the chemistry between them from taking the whole thing off the script. So it sounds cute. I love Christina Lauren. Sometimes their books are amazing, sometimes they're misses, but for the majority, I can always expect a good, fun time. So there you have all of the books I'm anticipating for March, April, and May. I have a lot to read, so I need to get to it. I would love to know what books you're looking forward to reading in the next few months. I'm sure I've missed some because I always do, so let me know which ones I've missed. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.